God, that you have made them a royal diadem. I thank you, Father God, that you are so concerned about them, that you have tattooed their names in the palms of your hands. I thank you, oh Lord Jesus, that you have loved them with an everlasting love. So much that, Father God, you call them the apple of your eye. I thank you, Father God, that you are mindful of each and every lady in this place. I thank you, Heavenly Father, that you are raising a standard in our life. I thank you, Heavenly Father, that their lives are upwards and forwards only in Jesus' name. Thank you, blessed Lord, in the mighty name of our Lord Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
So I've since learned that if you try to escape like Jonah, you always end up in Nineveh. So sometimes just do what you have to do and avoid the drama. So I would like to acknowledge the presence of our dear apostle, a beautiful woman. I'm not a very vocal person, but I follow you. I see the work that you're doing. I see it. You're doing a great work. And thank you so much for your labor of love. I was seeing some familiar faces because I follow her. I'll be seeing the post. So some familiar faces that yes, that one I know. That one I know. You're doing a great job. And I'd like to honor you all ladies for being here. It's it takes a lot of effort on a Friday after a long week to rest, but you are here. Thank you for that. And because you are here, I am here. I was telling Gamu that 8 a.m. I have a lecture and I'm finishing at 4 p.m. But by the grace of God, you will use inner strength in me. For the sake of my session, or those that have been in my sessions, my name is Jonathan. So let me introduce myself. So my name is Jonathan Shiba. I am 40. I am single. If you've got your brothers, please feel free to direct them. But they must be God-fearing. They said after God fear woman, so they must be God-fearing. Why am I called Jonathan? So like I said, all those that know me in the training field know me as Jonathan. Why am I called Jonathan? When I went into image consulting, it was a call. So not only pastors are called, even image consultants are called. And the Lord said to me, you are the Jonathan that's there to take David's hand and teach him the protocol of the palace. Because I'm raising kings. So as you're sitting here, I'm seeing kings only. And my job is to teach you the protocol of the palace. So that when Saul comes with his 0, you raise your standard to the 10.
Amen.
Why is it important to teach David the protocol of the palace? David had a specific assignment of preserving the nation of Israel to make sure they win all the wars and destiny is met. And that's why I am here, to make sure that whatever purpose you have, whatever assignment God has given you, the roadblocks that she was talking about, the potholes, the barriers, whatever, you will know how to skip them and jump them so that you make your way into the palace. And unfortunately, the devil is a mastermind. He will put a lot of roadblocks, but then there's a God out there. I am going to use an unorthodox example, but I need you to hear me and hear me very well. Right. I'm going to start off reading my anchor scripture My second, this is not the first, we'll go to the first, is Isaiah 60, verse 1 and verse 15. Isaiah 60, verse 1 and verse 15. So when I spoke to our apostle, I told her that the title of my presentation is Healing the Scars. So when she started presenting, I was like, okay, if there was ever any doubt that I had heard correctly, now there's no doubt. Why healing the scars? So as you were asking questions, or as Doc was presenting, there are some times when you feel, okay, I've jumped the stage, I've gone, but there are triggers that come back. Why do those triggers come back? Because there's a scar that reminds you. I'll use an example of myself. I've got a scar on my chest. It's not painful, it's a keloid now. It's not painful, but it's there. Now and then, I have people that ask me, what happened? And when they ask me, I need to narrate how I got it. And how I got it was not an exciting thing. It's a trigger. Now, these triggers can prevent you from taking your position in the palace because you have hurt. This is why I decided to title my presentation Healing the Scars, Those Reminders. So on 8th November 2007, I got bitten by a spider at Sanganai Creek. I had gone for a youth program I didn't want to go to. I had visited my auntie and she forced me to go. She paid for it. And so I went. When I got there, then I got bitten by a spider. And I didn't think it was anything serious. Then it turned out to be serious. Now it's actually healed. It was bad. It was bad. I was in the avenue for a whole full day. And like I said, it's a trigger because I'm thinking I never wanted to go to that youth program anyway. Now you see what you caused me. Now I have a very visible scar that everybody sees. If I try to wear something nice, show a little bit of flesh on the shoulders, people see the scar, people see the head. So for you ladies, I don't know what you've gone through, I don't know why you are here, but there are probably things that you have done, maybe in ignorance, but anyway, that's history, it's done. But unfortunately, the enemy will bring back those triggers because the scars are there. There are people that know you from your past. There's evidence sometimes of that past. It comes. What do you do with it? How do you fight it? So Isaiah 60, verse 1. So I personally love the Amplified Bible, so I'll be using mostly the Amplified. It says, rise from the depression and the prostration in which circumstances have kept you. Rise to a new life. Shine. Be radiant with the glory of the Lord. For your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. Then I go to verse 3. And the nations shall come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your rising. So when I introduced myself, I told you why I'm called Jonathan. And my surname is Sheba, for the Queen of Sheba. By the time I am done, I want to ensure that as you leave this place, wherever you're going to go, whoever you meet, they should have the experience that the Queen of Sheba had when she visited Solomon. That Solomon, you are no longer a son of a harlot or an illegitimate son, but people are drawing wisdom from you. They are seeing beauty, they are seeing splendor. So that's the experience that people are supposed to have from you. Then we go to verse 15. It says, whereas you have been forsaken and hated, so that no man passed through you, I will make you an eternal glory, a joy from age to age. So the Bible is actually very clear that there are instances where you're going to be hated, or you're actually hated right now. But the Lord is promising that arise. All you just have to do is arise. So what I need us to do this evening is to remove our widow's clothes. So whatever it is that you have been crying about, it's time to remove those widow's clothes. Can somebody please open, which is the main scripture, Genesis 38? Can somebody please open Genesis 38 from verse 6 to 26? So whoever has found it can read it. So ladies, you need to arise. I don't know, the depression, the prostration, whatever it is, you need to arise so that those scars are healed. Because the Lord says you're an eternal glory. And the good thing about kings, about royalty, is that royalty only works and communicates with royalty. There's a level that they operate at. And that's the level you need to operate at on a daily basis. Has somebody found? Yes, please read it through.
Genesis verse 6.
38 verse
38
6,
verse 6
6 to 26.
to 26.
Yes.
Okay. Now Judah took a wife for Er, his firstborn. Her name was Tamar. But Er, Judah's firstborn, was evil in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord killed him in judgment. And then Judah told Onan, go into your brother's widow and perform your duty as a brother-in-law under the Levirate marriage custom. Be a husband and raise children for the name of his brother. Onan knew that the child Er would not be his, but his dead brother's. So whenever he lay with his brother's widow, he spilled his seed on the ground to prevent conception, so that he would not give a child to his brother. But what he did was displeasing in the sight of the Lord. Therefore, he killed him also in judgment. Then Judah said to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, remain a widow at your father's house until Shelah, my youngest son, is grown. But he was deceiving her, for he thought that if Shelah should marry her, he too might die like his brothers did. So Tamar went and lived in her father's house. But quite a while later, Judah's wife, the daughter of Shua, died. When the time of mourning was ended, he went up to his sheep shearers at Timnah with his friend Hira the Adulamite. Tamar was told, listen, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to shear his sheep. So she removed her widow's clothes and covered herself with a veil, and wrapped herself up in disguise, and sat in the gateway of Enaim, which is on the road to Timnah. For she saw that Shelah had grown up, and she had not been given to him as a wife, as Judah had promised. When Judah saw her, he thought she was a temple prostitute, for she had covered her face as much as such women did. He returned to her by the road and said, please come and let me lie with you. For he did not know that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, what will you give me that you may lie with me? He answered, I will send you a young goat from the flock. And she said, will you give me a pledge as a deposit until you send it? He said, what pledge shall I give you? She said, your seal and your cord, and the staff that is in your hand. So he gave them to her, and was intimate with her, and she conceived by him. Then she got up and left, and removed the veil, and put on her widow's clothing. When Judah sent the young goat by his friend, the Adlamite, to get his pledge back from the woman, he was unable to find her. He asked the man of that place, where is the temple prostitute who was by the roadside at Enaim? They said, there was no prostitute here. So he returned to Judah and said, I cannot find her. Also the local men said, there was no prostitute around here. Then Judah said, let her keep the things, pledge articles, for herself, otherwise we will be a laughing stock, searching everywhere for her. After all, I sent this young goat, but you did not find her. About 3 months later, Judah was told, Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has played the role of a prostitute, and she is with child because of her immorality. So Judah said, bring her out and let her be burned to death as punishment. While she was being brought out, she took the things Judah had given her and sent them along with the message to her father-in-law, saying, I am with child by the man to whom these articles belong. And she added, please examine them carefully and see clearly to whom these things belong, the seal and the cord and the staff. Judah recognized the articles and said, she has been more righteous in this matter than I, because I did not give her to my son Shelah, as I had promised. And Judah did not have intimate relations with her again.
Amen. Thank you very much. So Tamar's story is quite unorthodox, that there are lessons we're going to learn from it. Please read Matthew 1 verse 3. Just Matthew 1 verse 3.
Matthew 1, verse 3.
Yes. The genealogy of Jesus.
Matthew 1,
Verse 3.
Okay. Judah was the father of Perez, and Zerah by Tamar. Perez was the father of Hezron, and Hezron the father of Ram.
Which version? So please read it again.
Judah was the father of Perez, and Zerah by Tamar. Perez was the father of Hezron, and Hezron the father of Ram.
Okay, thank you. So in the genealogy of Jesus, I think it's only 3 women that made it, 4, including Mary, yes, that made it. The rest didn't make it. Now, when you look at the character Tamar, I feel she represents all of us. For starters, verse 6 from Genesis 38, it says her husband was wicked. Yeah. So I'm assuming the husband was abusive to her. Then we can argue that was she a prostitute or was she not? But the fact of the matter is that she was exposed. Because imagine all the brothers moving from one brother to the next to the next. She was an exposed woman. She didn't have dignity anymore. Then she was also a woman that was cheated on what belonged to her, where one of the brothers was spilling the seed so that she would not conceive. So among the other women, it was a shame not to have a child. Then you are being cheated. So I want you to put yourself in the shoes. Maybe there were things that you were cheated on in your life that you were meant to take, but other people cheated you on those things. Then at some point, she arose from the depression and the prostration that she was in, and she said, no. Because if you look at that genealogy, Judah is where Jesus comes from, so it's royal blood. So at some point she got up and said, I can't die a pauper, I can't die a loser, I can't die a woman without integrity. It's time for payback. And she did what she had to do. She removed her widow's clothes. So for you, I don't know what your widow's clothes is. What garment are you wearing? What shame are you wearing? But it's time to remove them and place a demand on your blessing. Tamar placed a demand on her blessing, on her standard. That anyway, Lord, I don't know what conversation she had with God, but I'm just assuming in my head that she got to a point where she said, you know what, God, look, I've been abused, I've been cheated, what not. So I'm going full throttle. I'm going for the head now. And she went for the father. What I like about the whole story is verse 26, where the father says, you know what, you are a more righteous person than I am, because you fought for what was yours, you stood your ground for what was yours. So, like I said, I don't know what it is. There are so many hurts, so many scars, but there's a time where you just need to stand and say, you know what, the scars I have, they are scars of war, like a soldier in a war. You're warring different things, but you know what? With my scars, I am going to stand at the palace gate and tell them, open the gate for me. I deserve to be in there. I deserve to be sitting there. So sometimes life takes us through those things. And the question is now, how do you heal the scars that are there? Tama had bad scars, but I'm sure she's one of the characters that I would love to interact with in heaven. That when you're sitting now and you're seeing the Lord Jesus there, and you're thinking, if it was not for me, Jesus wouldn't have come. I need you to see the gravity of the matter, the legacy she left. If she hadn't done what she had done, I don't know where Jesus was going to come from.
Right.
Yes. And like I said, in the genealogy of Jesus, she's one of the few women mentioned. Deborah the Great is not there. Yes. Esther, the one we all admire, is not there. But Tamar, the loose Murora, made it. And she's the first woman to actually be mentioned. So there are lessons to be learned from her. So as we're talking about healing the scars, my question to you ladies is, you need to do a self-introspection. What's your purpose? Why are you here? What does the Lord want you to do? When you answer that question, everything else, it doesn't matter. Those scars are easily healed. Okay, I've never shared my story. This is the first time I'm going to share it in a public forum. So, my mother was a prostitute. My father was a very straight man. There are circumstances that happened that led to him meeting my mother. So when he met my mother, she fell pregnant, then gave birth to then she dumped me at 2 weeks old. She left me where my father was working. Then my father had traveled. And you know, Kudara, it was Tsamba. By the time it arrives, you get the reply. Then you need to look for the bus to go where you're going. My father only knew about between 2 and 3 months that there was a child, because when I was left there, a lady next door used to work in Buha mine, so you know, so the lady next door is the one that took care of me and breastfed me until my father came, and she was like, package. And I don't look like my father, I look like my grandfather. So when they looked, they're like, yeah, it must looks like my grandfather. Then, with that story still happening and whatnot, my father then died. So now I'm an orphan, right? Now the question is, where do you go? What do you do? So at some point in my life, I was very bitter. I was very bitter with life, that what kind of nonsense life is this? I mean, at least part of the story, there should be something nice. So, okay, about my father, what killed him? He died because of, you know, AIDS yakudara, not HIV. Yeah. AIDS, mukondombe, chayo. Wanga usina question now. So unfortunately, that time, because he raised me as a single father, he didn't want anybody taking care of me except him. When he used to move around with me, it was a garment of shame, because Everybody knew he had AIDS. You didn't need to be told. The other kids were laughing at me at school. Nobody wanted to play with me, what not. Then also relatives didn't want me because they are not too sure. And unfortunately, I was just skinny because I was raised by a single father. So you'd eat sometimes, if there was no milk, that's what you did. I used to drink castle like, this is what they get. Then in that process, like I'm saying, there's shame, right, with friends at school and neighbors in the same process, because he was a man going through his own horrors and traumas. He opened up abuse for me from neighbors because people knew I would stay alone. Sometimes you'd forget me, and there was lots of dramas going on. And I was beat, and I asked myself that, Lord, but if you are a real God, if you're there, why is this going on? There's too much, like every turn, there's hurt, there's pain. And then he died. Then in that process, I was taken in by my grandparents, my paternal grandparents, and the world was different. I didn't understand it. High profile people, and then there's just you. It's only in recent years, I think sometime during COVID, that's when I then understood my assignment, that I needed to learn the protocol of the palace, but to appreciate it, I had to go through processes like David went through in the wilderness, a sheep boy. Because in everything that happened, I was always left out. Remember, if you're an orphan, you're always left out. You're never first priority. If right now you open my albums and you look for pictures of me when I was young, you won't find them. Maybe one or two, because you're always in the background. But the good thing about being in the background is you get to see everything. You get to learn. So when you're polishing the shoes, you know the right polish to use, the right amount, how to shine them. Now, there's a statement I got from another speaker that I loved. He said, in your lifetime, you must pray that Pharaoh must not know. Because when Pharaoh doesn't know, Joseph is released from prison because he's got the answer. So whatever it is that you have gone through, whatever hurt, there's a time that's coming when Pharaoh will not know. And you are the one with the answer. But while you are in the prison, pay attention to the baker and the butler, because they are teaching you the protocol of the palace, so that when you show up to Pharaoh, you are speaking the right language, you are walking the right way, you are saying the right things. And whatever you say just like that, Pharaoh will forget that you are a prisoner, because you are a solution to his answer. You are a solution to the nation. So as she was talking, and she was talking about the people that asked about the hurts, what is your assignment? What is your purpose? What have you been called for? So sometimes you've just been called so that you build character on the outside. As you're building character, you're learning the ins and outs, so that when it's time for you to sit on the throne, you know all the ins and outs of what is supposed to be done. So like I said, it's only in recent years when I started to understand. I will tell you right now, if you want to bet $10,000, I will tell you right now, we can leave this place and we'll enter the State House without an appointment. Because I've learned the protocol of the palace. I know what to do when we get to the gate. I know how to walk in and they won't ask us questions. They will salute, because there are certain lessons I learned on the way. And while you're sitting in your dungeon, because you're not talking, you're feeling sorry, everybody else is talking, they're sharing their stories. then unenge uchiti zvavo vana vevamwe zvavo. But zvavo vana vevamwe, pay attention to what is being said because you are going to need it. So when I understood my assignment, I was like, okay, I needed to go through these processes so that when I talk to people, I'm not just talking. I've walked it, I've experienced it. I know that, you know what, this dungeon, you can come out. This grief, you can go through it. The question you asked on grief, I have grieved, I have cried, I was all cried out. There was nobody else to cry on. And like I said, right now I'm not married, I don't have children. So if I die, I die. There's no continuation of genealogy. Like it ends with me like, bah, done. Yeah, she existed, then it fizzles out. So I've cried it all out. But then I understood the assignment. That, okay, it's not about what happened and what not. Like God said, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. There was an assignment. So sometimes we go through these hard things so that we learn. The hardest thing I think that I've gone through, more than all the other things I've spoken, I lost a student last year. She committed suicide. And I had questions because I had postponed her appointment. And I was thinking, maybe I should have just allowed her to come through and see me. Because when she died, I was called by Inessa, you know, Annie from Go. Like me, I'm like, why are you telling me she's not my child? Why are you telling me? And then the relatives are saying, I'm like, she's not my child, what do you want me to do? I was in that place. That's when my assignment opened up to me that you knew what to do and you didn't do it. It's a scar. It's a scar that's there that will always remind me that day. But now we take lessons. We take lessons from it. So I just wanted to encourage you that the scars, use them as your trophies of war. Where you say, you know what, I've been beaten down like Tama. What else are you going to do to me? Even my father-in-law knows me inside out. So what can anybody do to me? I think that's the most embarrassing thing that could happen to a woman. Yeah. All the brothers know me. The father-in-law knows me. What else can you tell me? She's been through it all. She's been through the abuse. But the greater victory, unfortunately, sometimes we don't see it there. But what Isaiah 15 said, that I have made you an eternal glory. You only understand it when you understand your purpose. So as you go through this process of healing, my prayer for you is ask God to reveal to you what is your purpose? What is it exactly you're supposed to do? Why are you here? Then you'll find that whatever is going on, that's the gym exercise, it's the dress rehearsal. Unfortunately, for some, it's painful. For others, it looks less painful. But that's what is there. We need to move. Maybe generations from now, they're going to be talking about you that, you know what, remember Mama Gama, or great-grandmother Gama, if she hadn't done this, this wouldn't have happened. We don't understand, but our prayer is just, Lord, lead us in the direction that I should go. Get me there. Now, as I close this part and get into the etiquette and protocol, if God had told Joseph that you are going to be king, he told him in a dream. But from where they were sitting, it didn't make sense. There's a process that needed to be done. So sometimes you actually know your purpose, but God has to push you and shove you into it. Right. So that's number one. 2, I found that God is very interesting, especially if you speak to him as a father. and not God. Please get me right. When you speak to him as a father, when you're just open to him and you just say, Daddy, tell me what's going on. Because if it was direct that Joseph was going to preserve the nation of Israel and be a governor, he was going to be killed. He was going to be killed. So God orchestrated some sort of hatred in the brothers. Then he was sold by the Ishmaelites. He landed in Potiphar's house. Then he ended up in prison. But like she was saying, even in all those circumstances, he was still winning. Because you see, his pain was probably not as painful as the others. You get sold, then you are sold to Potiphar. Look, you could have been sold to a brothel or something, I don't know, or into the fields. Then while he was in Potiphar's house, because it was Potiphar's house, he was not put in the ordinary jail. He was put in the jail for political whatever. That's why the baker and the cupbearer were there. While they were sitting there, I don't know how many years, the guy started sharing their stories. That mnozea kana uchenda kuna farm, kapu noibata so, panika step kaunofamba nako. So I know my words, and he was just listening. And while he was there, he was made head over all the prisoners. So when you read Genesis 41 verse 14, it says before he went out to present himself to Pharaoh, he bathed, he shaved, he changed his clothes. Why did he do that? There are things he had learned from the baker and the cupbearer. So some of the conversations that are there to unlock your destiny, you need to hear them and learn them in dingy corners. So Joseph's story made sense when the brothers came. Then he was like, okay, this is why I went through all this. The story made sense in the end. And as the word of God says, the Lord knows, the end to the beginning. God works in reverse. So it only made sense that, this is why I was here. It was never about the brothers. It was never about Potiphar's wife. It has always been about fulfilling the purpose. So whatever you're going through, may God keep you there until you learn your lesson and get to the destiny. God will keep you there until you get to your destiny. It's painful. Joseph cried. The father was in distress, but the distress became worth it in the end. Right. So I just wanted to share that on healing of scars. So I'm going to share with you some pointers for the palace. How for you to king. I call it kinging. I personally call it kinging. It's a term I created myself. How to king. Why is kinging important? And kinging is something that's dear. And it's on God's heart. Because the word of God says he has made us king, priests. We are heirs to the throne. It's unfortunate that some of us choose to be servants. Because we think we are not good enough because of the situations and whatnot. But you are meant to king. Where do you king? You king in your sphere of influence, whatever your purpose is. If you look at everybody that was great in the Word of God, they went through some etiquette and protocol lessons. We saw the example of Joseph. He had to bath, he had to shave so that he was presentable. Now, a person is made of three things, a human being, when it comes to kinging. First, you are made of 55% your appearance. Then 38% is your deportment, or what we call your behavioral traits. And then only 7% is your choice of words. So the same way we say spirit, soul, and body, in terms of kinging, it's appearance, deportment, and verbal communication. So 55%, 38%, and 7%. And these are biblical facts. If you read the greater part of Exodus, that is what you find. People were just being taught to bath. And how do I know this was in God's heart? When God chose the priests, He's the one that made them their dress code, what they should wear. He made them their perfume. He made them their oils to anoint themselves. He created the hyssop for them to bath with. So then after that, He taught them how to walk. So this is how I want you to picture yourself, the way God pictures you as a king priest. So why is this important? Because as human beings, we work with our senses, our 5 senses. Then I like to add number 6, common sense, or what I would call the Holy Spirit leading. So we work with sight. If anything is nice, it's beautiful, it's eye-catchy, we all want it. If you're walking past a shop, you'll come back in reverse to check on something because you like it. If you get to a place, you want to sit on the clean seat. I've never seen anybody that rushes for the dusty seat. You want what's nice. So we work with sight. So because God knows that we work with sight, as it's what dad is princess to my dad. As a princess, you're supposed to look nice, immaculate all the time. Then the second thing is the sense of hearing. When you speak, are you audible? Do people hear you? What's the tone of your voice? That's why when God sent Moses, God, clearly God could have just fixed Moses' voice and whatnot, but eloquent Aaron, because I'm sure if Moses spoke, Pharaoh was going to kick him out or even kill him. So he needed a voice. Even if they say nonsense, it will just sound good. So sense of hearing is important. Then we have sense of touch, right? When you greet people, when you hug people, your skin, how it feels like. Are your hands nice and soft? Are they supple or are they rough and sweaty? Because sometimes we think people don't like us, but you are just not comfortable. You're just not comfortable. So this is why the priests were told, wash your hands, apply creams, do this and that. Even that's why Esther took a whole year bathing. Just a whole year bathing. Like, how much bathing do you need to do to present yourself? You need to be appealing that even when people see you, they'll just feel good, first lady. Right. Then we have the sense of, what's the other sense? Taste. I want to end with smell. The sense of taste. Thank you so much to the ladies that prepared food. I'm a foodie, I love food. And I got pizza plate, yes, food was great. When there is good food, people will always come for seconds. People will stay longer. They'll be comfortable. But if food is terrible, they will leave the food, they will leave early, and they are not coming back. So you will lose out opportunities on other things. Then lastly, sense of smell. God is really concerned about smell. Like, really, like seriously. I think that's his phobia. Things that smell bad. He wants a sweet smelling server. So I like to give an illustration. I need you to understand me. How many of us know Copacabana? You've been to Copacabana. Has anybody tried to wait or meet somebody per Copacabana? Why? Not smell.
It actually is
Crowded.
It's crowded, right? It's just hectic trying to think which Ndomira Papi. Let me give you a secret. Please write this secret down. If ever you want to meet a person in a crowded place, tell them to wait by the toilet. Around the toilet, there will be nobody. Let's be honest. Go to Copacabana tomorrow. No, I'm serious. If you find someone getting lost, or if you are in a new place, even if you travel, let me tell you, even if it's actually a security fact, even if you travel to a place you don't know and you find you are stuck and whatnot, always wait by the bathroom. We will find you because nobody wants to stand by the bathroom. You know, if you wait for somebody by the toilet, if it's 3 seconds, it will feel like you've been waiting 3 hours. Yeah. It's uncomfortable because of the smell. But honestly, it's the easiest way to find something. I teach that to kids, that if you find that you're getting lost, you don't know what to do, go and stand by the toilet. We will find you. But per terminus, Pepe, you can't even see what's going on. But the toilet is always free. The toilet zone is always free. Unfortunately, the smell makes it uncomfortable for us to wait.
Yeah.
So, if you are not smelling good, people repel. They run away from you. They don't want to be around you because of the smell. So while we are there, I'm going to teach you, does anybody have fragrance here? Does anybody have perfume? Nobody has fragrance? No, let me see, I think I should have fragrance. So our, what we call perfume is actually called fragrance, not perfume. We are learning, we are kinging at it. Yes. So if you are a king, this is not perfume, it's fragrance. So we have different fragrances, which we apply differently. Right. So in our fragrance range, perfume. In our fragrance range, we have antiperspirant. There's no such thing as roll-on. Roll-on is the method of application. So your antiperspirant can come as a powder, as a mist, a spray, or a cream. So normally it's cream. Do you not roll on? Roll on is the method. Remember, you're a king, so please speak like royalty. Yes, antiperspirant. Yes, so do speak like royalty. Royalty has its own set of language. No 7%, that's our. That when you operate that way, you automatically differentiate yourself from everybody else and you start kinging. Then we have what we call our cologne or body sprays. As the name suggests, it's a body spray. Do not apply it on clothes. Right. So your cologne, your body spray, that's your fragrance for every day. So after you take your shower or your bath, you moisturize your body, then you use your body spray. And I will show you where to use it. From there, we have what we call the range now of perfumes. First, we have a toilette. So our fragrance ranges are normally called with French names. So we have a toilette, then edu, perfume, then perfume. Those three, toilette is something you can use every day. Edu, perfume, and the perfume, you do not use them every day. Ndiyo ye alabaster box. You only use it on special functions. Why? How are they different, you might ask? They have different percentages in their fragrance and alcohol composition. So if you use a perfume every day, so may I please have water? If you use a perfume every day, it's too strong, especially for work settings. So you end up choking people. And if there are too many perfumes, thank you. If there are too many perfumes in a setting, there's a musk cloud that happens, which is not good for your health. Others get headaches, others dizzy, others sinuses and whatnot. Right. So that's your range. Then what should you do now if you want to, if you're traveling or if you're going to the office? So after you apply your cologne or body spray or your toilet, what you should carry in your bag is a body mist. The one that gives you a shower feel, a fresh feel. Why? Most mists are water-based, so they will go along with any fragrance. But whatever fragrance you are using from your toilet will last you about 5 to 6 hours. Edu perfume, that's 6 to 8 hours. Your actual perfume, so this is the Edu perfume. So this one will last you about 6 to 8 hours. Then your perfume, it's 8 hours plus. That's the one. Kuti kana tete vakauya vakagara apa vakaenda. You will know kuti vakavaripo inosara iripo. Right. Now, how do you apply your fragrance? Right. You apply your fragrance only on pulse points. Which are the pulse points here? On your ear lobe, there. On your collarbone, there. For the ladies, between the breast. And you apply 15 to 20 centimeters away. Then in your inner wrist, there. Kawan. Musati one. Don't do that. You are wasting. That's a sign in diplomacy. That's a sign of selfishness. We won't promote you. You embezzle funds. It shows greed. So this is enough. Right. Oh, so these are pulse. Do you have a doctor? Do you have a nurse? The old school nurses and doctors will know, but I'm sure you know. When we used to go to think, I check our pulse. Sometimes why do you apply it only in this thing of behind your knees at the back? It's not for kings. Remember, there's difference between kinging and everyone else. So all these areas, they are not for kings. You can do them with the level you've chosen to put yourself. We won't argue with you. We won't argue with you. But for kings, there's a certain way we do things. Why? When you apply on the pulse points, your fragrance has what we call notes, fragrance notes or perfume notes. These notes are supposed to break. How do they break and mature? So your pulse points are the hottest parts of the body. Temperature, except your underarms. We are not talking of the underarms. So when you put them there, they start breaking and they release the true essence of your fragrance. I'll give you a simple example. Right. So who's our host, by the way? Where did she go? So what's her name? Mrs. Chinzo, right? So we are here. Mrs. Chinzo decides that she wants to cook for us a second round of midnight meal. While she's in the kitchen, takagara munomu. Chesa tikuziva kuti vaisa chicken here, vaisa pork here, vaisa fish here. Painotanga kuboila. When the meat notes break, that's how you pick up the scent. Iyo fish, iyo chicken. That's how fragrance works. So sometimes, if you find that the fragrance is not working for you, it's because you have applied it on the wrong places. So it's a waste. So applying it anywhere on the body is just a waste of fragrance because they are cold places. The knots will not break. A bottle like this, if it's proper perfume, which is about 45% alcohol fragrance going up, should last you a year to 3 years, depending on how many functions you attend. Right. So that's it on fragrance.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes we miss it. Now, the second point, this one is a personal recommendation. And I'll explain to you why. As ladies, we use a lot of skincare products. Your soap for the foot, for the back, for the whatnot, and for the nose, for the left ear, whatnot. We use a lot of things. Now, unfortunately, because sometimes we don't use the same line of products, we use different ones. So if you use, let's say for argument's sake, 7 products, starting from soap to the time you apply your moisturizer and your sunscreen, if they all have different scents, instead of smelling good, you might end up smelling off. Because it's now a mixed bag and the fragrances clash. So my personal recommendation is try as much as possible to make sure all the other products are neutral. They have no scent. So that also when you use your main scent, it's more visible and tangible. We can smell it. This is why I'm sure you'll agree with me. You've seen a person, you've actually seen they have bathed or you watched them bath. But within a few seconds of leaving the bathroom, there's a certain scent you can't explain about them. Usually it's because of the mixture of different fragrances that are there. So that's why I say that's a personal recommendation. Try and use one line or one scent throughout so that you don't smell. Let's leave the sense of smell alone. Right. Coming to dress code appearance. Whenever you receive an invitation, or you're going somewhere, or in your daily life, there's what we call occasion dress. Dress for the occasion. So we were given a dress code, right? That it's a pajama party, right? For a king, remember, okay, everything I'm saying, I'm speaking at king level. I'm not speaking at 7th level. I would have loved to. Unfortunately, I'm not at that level, so I'm not going to speak at that level. I don't understand it. Okay. Right. So, at king level, when you're given the dress code, follow the dress code to the T. It shows respect. If for any reason you can't follow the dress code, always let the host know in advance. Now, let's flip the tables. Imagine it's your function. The dress code says pajama party. Then you come wearing your very expensive, nice, button-down 3-piece suit. It's nice. But in terms of diplomacy and protocol, you've breached protocol. Zvinotosungisa mfungi. Wearing the wrong things. At international level, for royalty and presidency, if you wear the wrong dress code, it's a serious offense. It's a serious offense because that's how wars start. You are saying you're disregarding the other people. So let's be respectful and wear the correct dress code. Somewhere in, I don't know, in the 4 books, I don't know, Matthew, Mark, Luke, there is somewhere a scripture that talks about hembe dzemutambo. You will miss entry into the function because you are not dressed right. And you miss out on opportunities. Some opportunities just come because you are dressed right. So that's one on dressing. Number 2, only at weddings when you're given the color should you not wear the color. Have you understood? If you get a wedding invitation and it says burgundy and yellow, if you are not part of the wedding party, do not wear those colors. So what we are saying is, if you are not the mother of the groom, the father of the groom or the bride or a pedicure, do not wear those colors. You do not want to outshine the master. It's only at weddings. So ladies, when you plan your weddings and put colors, if you don't want people to wear them, please don't put those colors because people don't know what that means. It means don't wear those colors. You can wear absolutely anything that complements. I'll give you a simple example. I'm an image consultant. I understand dress code very well. Now, if you don't want me to wear, because I know when people put red, it means don't wear red. But if I come to your wedding, because this is my profession, I do this every day, I will outsmart you. And you don't want that. I remember there's a lady that invited me for her birthday party. She insisted, she said, send me a picture, I want to see what you're wearing. She wanted to see. I was like, no, I know I'm not going to. She said, no, I want to see. So imagine it's your function and your guests come looking way better than you. Now the camera person is focused on them and not you. It's very unfair. So please do not outshine the master. Right, be respectful, avoid those colors. But for any other function, stick to the color. That rule only applies for weddings only. Right. Then part of our appearance, ladies, your undergarments should not be seen at whatever cost. Everybody wears undergarments. Even Jesus had undergarments, and Jesus actually had quality undergarments. They fought for them when he died.
Oh, yeah.
So please do wear quality undergarments. Let us fight for them when the rapture takes you. We remain behind, but please don't show us. So even if you are wearing a bra, we don't want these sheer tops. We don't want to see your bra. You attract unnecessary attention. It's not for kings. It's for everybody. If you want to play the harlot, it's okay. If that's your profession, it's okay. We'll respect it. But if you are a king, don't. Right? And we also don't want to see your undergarments lined. As much as possible, make sure your clothing, we call it a 2-inch gap, that whatever you are wearing, you should be able to put your 2 fingers in it and they should move in freely. Yes. Also medically, it's not good to wear too tight things. Your skin, your body should breathe. And also when you walk for deportment, if your clothes are too tight, you walk funny. So allow your body to breathe. Right. Then silk stockings, pulling socks, hosiery, silk stockings. Whenever you get silk stockings, please match them with your skin tone. So generally for black people, for Zimbabweans, you can do black, you can do Mexican silver, you can do chocolate, full stop, all the other colors leave them alone. They are not for you. Yes, they are not for you. Then never wear silk stockings or stockings with open toe shoes. So please help, especially your mothers. Your mothers, I know they love silk stockings. They should never wear them with open toe shoes. And should you wear the half gut, the ones that get to the knees, make sure your garment, your skirt, your dress is longer than that. You don't want this going on. It's not for kids, right? Then when you buy shoes, ladies, never buy shoes in the morning. Shoes are bought after 12 noon.
Amen.
Yes. Shoes are not bought in the morning. Why? I always get questions. I wear heels a lot. I can go for 8, 10, 12 hours in heels. And people have always asked me, what is the secret to heels? So our bodies carry, our feet carry all our body weight. So in the morning, you've just woken up, you're fresh, you're all good to go. But around midday, the fatigue is starting to kick in, and usually your feet will swell, but it might not be visible to the naked eye. So any shoe that's comfortable that you buy when you are tired and is comfortable, that's your best shoe. Stick to those, especially if you're going around people or you're going to functions. Don't carry 20 bags of shoes, or you wear your shoes 2 seconds, the next thing you're starting to wobble. So if you want to be comfortable, wear the heels, but buy all your shoes after midday. They'll be most comfortable. Then our bonnets, ladies, should never leave the bedroom. Bonnets should never leave the bedroom. So when you're a king, when you show up, people should always see the glory and splendor on you. We don't want to know how you were made. We just want to see. I'm sure, did anybody ever see the ugly side of Queen Elizabeth? There's just a picture that we have of her that's just so perfect. That's what we want to see. And there's the bow, like the one my sister has, that white one. That should also not leave the bedroom. I've seen people with them in town. They are not for town. They are for the bedroom. So, but remember we said levels are different.
Yeah.
If you want, well, that's your level. But stay away. There are shoes I'm looking for. Now, they are what we call house shoes. These are house shoes. Others like to call them morning shoes, but they are house shoes. These should not step out of the house. So Pick and Pay, whatnot, I was just in a rush. It's not king. They are house shoes. Keep them in the house. Right. What else do I have for you? Then I spoke about bonnets. Right. Then hand cream. Please do not use hand cream on your face or the other parts of the body. Why? The cream, when you're using it, it looks normal, but the chemical compositions are different. It's too harsh for the face. So you'll find that after 15, 20 years, you start having funny skin, and that has happened because of the hand creams. Hand creams, of all our body creams that we use, hand cream and foot cream are very aggressive, though we might not see it with the naked eye, because our hands touch a lot of things. They go through a lot of processes. So usually hand creams are made heavier, hand creams and foot creams. So please don't apply them on your bodies. I've seen women with hand cream over zora mana skin. Let's not do that. Then lastly, there's no such thing as all protocols observed. That shows utter ignorance. Observe the protocol. Right. How do you observe the protocol if you don't know what the protocol is? I'll give you an example. So we are at this gathering, right? But I don't know who is who. So what I would say is I would like to acknowledge the apostle of the house. It's the KEC, is it?
KEM.
KEM. The KEM pastorate, its leadership, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. You have observed the protocol. Don't say all protocols observed. Now a person will come and say, but you didn't acknowledge us. They fit into one of the groups. Either you're the apostle, you're the pastor, you're the invited guest, or you are the lady. You fit into some way. So even culturally, when you go to a cultural setting, it's the same thing. Tikuda kutenda vanoremekedzwa vana mama, vana baba, vana sekuru nana mbuya, varora, hanzvadzi, vana tete, what not, hama vadiwa, neshamwari dzedu nemasahwira auya pano. Tafara mawi. You've acknowledged everyone. Don't say all protocols observed. It means you don't know. You're in the wrong place. Why are you there? If you don't know what to say, don't show up. Don't stand. Just don't speak. It shows ignorance. Then lastly, as I close, am I still my time? Sorry, I lost track. Of my, okay. Then lastly, on deportment. Deportment is very, very important. If we read the book of Judges 7, I think from verse 7 to 14 or 10, 11, somewhere there, it's very, very important for a king how you walk, how you present yourself, how you carry yourself. We find the story of Gideon's mighty men. I think he started off with 10,000. Then he ended with 300. And the test was simple. How were they carrying themselves? Then God said, He didn't care about the strength. He didn't care about their skill. He was concerned about the way they carry themselves. Because remember, our God is a king. He didn't want to be embarrassed by people that use the wrong walk. So, as a princess to your daddy, there's a certain way you should walk, a certain way you should carry yourself with poise, with decorum. Like my grandmother says, you are just, your body is everywhere, you are just there, you're just moving. When you walk, we should see, you should command respect, you should command attention. That when you're moving even if in the streets, people move away. They move, they respect you. And it's true. One thing I've said is that I will not be insulted by thoughts or mawindi or whatnot. Even the gafamba pakopa habana. When I move, they salute me. They pick up the difference that where are. And I have so many testimonies of those things. The way I carry myself, the way I walk, when I arrive, people open up space and I show up. That's how a lady should walk, the way you should present yourself. You should command respect, command authority. Like I said, some of the reasons why we are not getting where you're getting, because in closing, let me tell you what happened to me this one day. So I attended church. I had gone to observe. They wanted me to speak at their ladies' meeting. So I went one Sunday just to observe and see, so that when I go and present, I would know what I was presenting on. So number one, what happened there? So I sat right at the back because I was an observer. I wanted to see. And I didn't want the person that had invited me to know that I was there. But because I looked a certain way, they fished me out. That was number one. Two, That lady then asked me, what are you wearing? Your perfume smells very nice. I want it to, what is it called? And I told her. 3, the way I was dressed. She then said, oh, I like your outfits. Where do you get your clothes? And I told her. So she then called me when she came to make her payment for the work I was supposed to do. She said, you mentioned you get your clothes. Where? Can we go together? I went with her to the shop. While we were in that shop, she got a call. And she said she needed to rush. So because she had picked me up from my work, I had to go back with her. Then she said to me, I need to pass through somewhere. I hope you don't mind. So I said, okay, I didn't know where we were going. Then we were going. Then I was like, okay, what happens here? The next thing we were at the gate at the State House. It's like, okay, you should have told me we were coming here. I could have. Then when we got there, we drove in. The policeman, whoever the guard they came, they looked through the window. They were like, Maui, I don't even know when they had seen me because I don't even know them. Then we were told to proceed. But while we were proceeding, all the other people that came, there's a place you park, then you go and register and what they do, vetting, searching and whatnot. We just went. And she just said, follow me. And I followed. I had no agenda there at all, nothing. I was just following. But I managed to fit in so much that people didn't even know who I was and what was I doing there, because I learned the protocol of the palace, how to walk like a king. When I was asked, how are you? I responded as a king. So it made sense for me to be there. Right. When they went for their meetings, then I came out, went to the car, I was moving around. Nobody asked me, well, what are you doing? Apparently you're not allowed to loiter outside. I didn't know that, but nobody asked me. I knew it after. I was like, oh, why didn't somebody tell me? Because I looked the part. So what I'm saying is that these things, they look like very small things, but they are very, very important. I'm just going to quickly run through other characters that went through it. Ruth, that's how she met Boaz. Yeah. She was told what to do by the mother-in-law. And remember, Ruth also didn't qualify because of where she came from. We have Esther. She was an orphan, but she followed rules she was given by Mordecai, and she got her position. We have Joseph. We have David as well. So there are so many characters. They did certain things that seemed useless or nothing, but they got them to the place because those things were very key. They were very important. Then lastly, ladies, aspiration, own your story, use your voice. So we've been through so many things, so many hurts, a lot of drama. So one of the things, the answers to the question that was asked, that how do you heal, how do you deal with the process, it's about owning your story and telling it yourself. You know your story. You know the truth about it. Tell it yourself. Don't let other people tell your story. I always tell people, sometimes people introduce me and they introduce me the wrong way. They say, oh, she's a stylist, she's a beautician. I do those things, but I'm not those things. I'm an image consultant. They are two different things. So own your story and tell it. The more you tell it, you drown whatever thoughts, whatever other things that people are saying, the other things that you're hearing. If you look at everybody that God dealt with, he announced them with their destiny name. Mighty men of valor, father of many nations, a mother to Israel. They had a voice that they needed to use for their destiny. So ladies, own your voice, tell your story with the name that God has given you for your destiny. Thank you. Okay, no.
Can you
That
please
was
do it
joking.
again?
Stroking.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
That was perfect.
Questions, guys. Questions. Yes, questions. Yes.
It's out of the context that you gave. I just want to know something.
Yes.
What is the rightful things to carry in your bag?
Okay. Right. I had skipped that, but let's go through them. So a lady, you always need a small notebook, somewhere to write. We've got our phones, but there are certain settings where you cannot use your phone. Because unfortunately now we use our phones for a lot of things. So sometimes maybe I could be here on Facebook or doing other things or taking selfies. So it's always good to write. Sometimes your phone lets you down. And psychologists say that when you write something, because you're going through the process, you remember it better. Right. Then you need to have your business cards. Whatever it is you're doing, whether you're selling and there's a business card etiquette, how you give your business card. So when you're giving your business card, you give it with both hands, holding it like that, your details facing the person that you want to give. Why do we give it this way and we don't give it that way or toss it over the table? When you do that, in diplomacy, it's called prostituting yourself because your business card contains all your details. If I've got your business card, it means I know where to find you, I can call you, I need to communicate with you. So if you throw it out, anybody can come in and go. Yes, that's how it is. So you always give yourself off well. That's how you give your business card. Okay, let's see what I have. Right. So you need hand cream. Now, some of the hand creams we have, my tubes there, they are good, but some of them are a bit big. I prefer this size. Right. Now, the things that I'm going to show you, they are not expensive to have. If you talk to me nicely, I'll get you these. Get this, just keep refilling it. It's very small. Then, okay, an important point I had left out. All grooming chores must be done in the restroom, never in public. When we talk of public, your office, in the car, even amongst other women, they must be done in the restroom. When you do it in public, you're disgracing yourself, 1, 2, you're disrespecting the people that are around you. You're saying you're not important, I can do my dirty work around you. So this will be good for your hand cream. The good thing is very small. If you're around people and you don't want to carry your bag, it's easy to just hold it and cover it. You need to have lip gloss or lipstick, right? Personally, I use a breath spray. Why? The challenge with gum, after you chew it, what do you do with it? Then, unfortunately, some of the chewing styles. The next thing is under the couch. So, I personally recommend the breath spray, or they are what we call, they're Listerine stickers. It's a very thin foam. If you take it, you can just stick it on your tongue or upper mouth, then it just melts because those are quick. These are good, but personally, this is a personal recommendation. Why I don't prefer them? The process of the paper. Have you been in meetings where you just hear somebody just fiddling around? Then some people tend to chew. Then some suck also the wrong way. So that's normally why I avoid them. But the sweets, the mints are actually better than the gum. But this for me, also because I do a lot of talking and I want something that's quick. Done. I put it away. Then you can also refill this. If you get one, open it, put your Listerine. If you don't have the mouthwash, like your Listerine or whatever mouthwash, what you can do, your everyday toothpaste, put in some water, shake, 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 shake. You now have your breath spray. So this is what I have in here. My purse. Now wallets are for men. Purses are for women. This is a purse. This is a sling bag. Yeah, it's purse the E. Right. So for a lady, your purse must close firmly like this. I wanted people to open it. Beside my receipt at Snabas. Why are they there? File them. Do we have, you said auditor. My auditor, my accountant. You are culprits.
No, I actually don't do that.
So you should make sure that all the unnecessary things are out. Right. If you receive a business card from somebody else, put it in your business card holder, but your purse must be neat. Things should not just fall out. Now, one of the important things that I personally keep in my purse, since we don't have coins, are safety pins for, you never know when emergencies will happen. So I just keep those in there. But your purse should close well. Then I have my little comb, because I have short hair, so sometimes you just need to touch up its brush and comb. Don't carry the whole, leave that at home. Then I have my little flat mirror to touch up when I'm in the restroom. What is most important, what I need you to see, so I've got my feminine wipes to stay fresh. You can use them under or in your underarms, you remain fresh. Then this is very important, ladies. Do get sanitary cases. Don't throw your sanitaries in your bags. I've seen people opening their bags and they're like, pray it doesn't fall, pray it doesn't fall, Holy Ghost, keep it inside. It's also not good for your personal hygiene. Now I'll show you what is contained in here. Now this thing is very neat. If she has an emergency and I pass it on to her, it's very neat. Right, so I'll show you what's inside. Number one, sanitary bag for when I change. A tampon, panty liner, then the actual pen. And all this fits in here. So it's good to buy these sanitary cases, or you can get whatever, something that you can use, but let it be neat and discreet. So your handbag should be organized, not 1,000 things. Okay, mine also has a power bank for emergency, but it should be neat inside. No junk, don't be fumbling looking for things in your bag. It should be very organized. If you send somebody into your handbag, they should be able to see what's there. But my number one take would be every woman, just carry your own sanitaries, please. Yes, we are kind, we want to share, but did you not know? Are you not a woman? For teenagers, we understand they are still learning. Or unless there's a serious emergency, then you don't have. But I think every woman, every day. So I keep it in here, even if I'm not using them. Every handbag I have, this is there. So even if I'm not using my handbag or I'm wearing jeans, at least it fits in the pocket. It's always there. So always carry your handbag, your sanitaries. Then I also have pocket tissues. Right. Very, very essential. You don't know where you're going. You might need them to dust the chair, for your nose, for the bathroom, whatever. Good to have. Yes. Yeah. Is there another question? Yes.
Another question.
Okay. Can we go back to the fragrances?
True?
To the fragrances.
Yes.
How do you know that this is? No, they are now fixed right now. Like, how do you know that this will last?
How will you know it will last?
Yes.
Okay, so the name of the fragrance. If it's a perfume, like I said, it's 8+ hours. If it's an eau perfume like this one, it's 6+. If it's a cologne, you're looking at 3 to 5 hours. So, okay, what I will do, I'll get the chart for you, send it to Apostle, then she can forward it to you. Then the other thing, how do you know what fragrance works for you? If you use it and you don't smell it, that's the right fragrance for you. If you use it and you smell it, there's a clash. It's not for you. So you might like the fragrance that I'm wearing, right? You've smelled it on me. But then you take it and you use it. If you find that you are still smelling it when you use it, it's not for you. There's a clash. If it's for you, it will blend well with your natural skin oils. That's how you know it's for you. When others tell you about it and you're not picking it direct, that's how you know if it's for you. There's harmony between your body and the fragrance. Yes. Any other question? No. Yes.
What's the correct place to place my bag at a restaurant?
Okay. At the restaurant, never on the table. What you would rather do, depending with the chair, you can put it here on the this part, I don't know what you would call it, or, and this is why we say your bag should not have too many things. You put it behind you like that, then you sit. It will actually help you have correct posture. If it's a very small, like your clutch bag, you can put it on the lap, right? Then if it's a big one and you don't have the handbag hook to hook it on the table, put it on the floor. Your handbag should never be on the table. But ideally, if you're going to eat, don't go with the whole suitcase. Just take something neat and small. Yes.
Okay. How about must-have clothes? Like especially like for work, like your basic clothing.
Okay, so I'll answer the question from an image consulting point of view. There are 3 things. Okay, first it depends with the work that you're doing. Number 2, with your personality, dress. Number 3, the expectation of the organization.
Or if it's a formal type.
If it's a formal, then you go for formal. You wear whatever you're wearing. If it's dress or skirts, they should be knee length or below knee, never above the knee. Why never above? Normally when you sit or walk, they pull up. So it's knee or below the knee. Then colors, you're looking at what we call neutral colors. Your black, your navy blues, your grays, your charcoal grays. Never anything bright. Then when it comes to your shirts or blouses, you are looking at gray, use blue, use things that are toned down. Anything that's not exciting is for formal wear, if you can put it that way. Colors that are dull, that are not exciting, that's formal wear. That's what you can go for.
And on shoes, can we say it's like open shoes? Are they okay?
Formal wear, no open shoes. We should never see your toes. Never. So you wear what we call court shoes or pumps. Right. The things that we call pumps in Zim are not pumps. They are flats. Those are called Barolina flats. Pumps are actually short heels with normally 3 inches. So also for work setting, the recommendation is 3 inches. If you want to go a bit higher, 6. Never anything above 6. You are now a model. You are now taking people's attention. So 3 inches, they must be closed, and depending with what you're wearing, you're sticking to the black, the navies, the grays, the browns, all neutral colors. Yes.
With the pulling socks, you mentioned that you should not wear them with your pictures.
Yes.
How about the shoes that are open at the back? They're closed in front but open at the back. The buckle.
Oh, with the sling back, that one is okay. Yes, that is fine. But the front never. Yes, the front never.
So
But when
we should never wear heels with open, like that show your toes.
no, if you're wearing silk stockings.
Okay.
Yes. But the challenge with the buckle now is that you need to make sure that you fasten it well, because sometimes then it will catch on to the stockings, then they rip, then it's a whole other story.
Yeah.
Then a cheat sheet to make sure your silk stockings last. I don't know what the science is, but it works. Somebody told me about it. I've been doing it for years. It works. Before you wear them, freeze them. Yeah, I don't know what the science is. I've tried to research on the science, but it works. You can actually wear a pair 20 or 30 times without it. I don't know what the science is. Not like overnight. I just feel like overnight. When you take them out, they are not frozen. I don't know what the science is. We need a scientist to explain it, but it works.
I know that's what it is.
Yes, please do it. Yes.
Okay, so my question is on interview etiquette. So what are some of the tips that you would share with someone who has an interview? How are they supposed to act when they arrive, when they get into the interview room, when they leave, that kind of thing?
Okay, number one, so the question is a bit broad, but number one, the fact that you've been called for the interview, it means you qualify. What they are testing you on is organizational fit, which is based on your personality. So what you're supposed to present is the best personality. But the fact that they've called you, you have the 5 O levels, you have the 3 years experience. So it means you have 1 day. So they're just checking how are you going to fit into the organization, right? Don't sell yourself too high, don't sell yourself too low. Keep it moderate. That's the best thing. And be honest, right? Never lie, be honest. So even if they ask you questions, trick questions, like what are your weaknesses? Mention the weakness, but turn it into a positive. Right, for what example can I use? For example, if they say, are you, like you talk too much, right? Like what's your weakness? I talk a lot. Yes, I talk a lot, but the good thing about me talking a lot is that I get to engage more with more people, then I learn from them and yada yada yada, what. You show the positive side, that's what you do.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Mine is on jewelry.
Yes.
So like, I like jewelry, but I'm very skeptical about what kind of jewelry to wear. And again, you say dress the part depending on where you're going. But is there something like an everyday thing? Is there jewelry that are not kingly? Talk about anklets, toe rings, all that. Just
Okay.
generally.
So with jewelry, there's 2 sides. Like I said, there's also the cultural side. So it's now striking a balance with what works. because some cultures are jewelry heavy. Then for some cultures, it's a symbol of status. But then if it's for the organization, normally my personal recommendation is if you are not too sure of the setting, less is more, it's enough. Make it minimalistic until you understand what people expect. Personally, I love jewelry. I love a lot of rings. But then I just keep them on 2 fingers and on awkward fingers so people don't quite see it. So it's just a matter of the culture, but less is more until you're comfortable with the space. And like I mentioned, there's what we call personality dress. So it depends with let me just run through the personality dresses. So number 1, so you can be 2 or 3 personalities in varying percentages. So what determines your personality dress? Funds permitting, there are no cultural restrictions. What would you go for? That's how we pick your personality dress. So we've got the classic personality. So the classic personality is the one that's timeless. If we take you back in time travel and you land in 1943, you still fit in. If we take you forward in 2070, you still fit in. That's usually your formal way, your suit, or the way usually government people dress. Sorry if there are any government people. That's the classic look. It's just bland. It's timeless. Then we have the romantic chic. The romantic chic is the girly type. The person loves lace, they love flowers, they love fur, they're very girly. There's no question about them, they're girly. Then we have the natural look. The natural look is the unbothered person. Jeans, t-shirt, bow, at they're just always in relaxed mood. Then we have what we call the Euro chic. The Euro chic, this is a lady that wears only brands. If it's not Gucci or Louis Vuitton or whatnot, they will not wear, no matter what. They go for high status. Then we've got what we call the ethnic chic. The ethnic chic, depending with the person's culture, don't think I'm African attire or like the Indian dress or the Arab dressing, they dress according to the culture. Then the last one is the dramatic one. The dramatic one, it's things that a normal person would never wear. But if they wear it, it makes sense. Usually artists dress that way. You're trying to figure out how did they even put all these things together. But when they wear the things, it goes with their personality. They just blend in very well in it. So that's how you pick up also a person's personality. Dress. Yes.
Is there a certain type of hairstyle that does not reflect royalty, and how do you know the type of hairstyle that is best?
Right. Okay, so on hairstyle, the first thing we look at, number 1 is what we call your face mapping, your face shape and your head. Then number 2, we have what we call color analysis. There are certain colors that you should never wear in your entire life because they'll work against you. That's very technical. So we do the process of discovering what colors should you wear. Then number 3, it also goes with your age. There are certain things for a certain person's age that they just should not do. Then number 4, it's your personality. Right, does the hairstyle you're doing, does it go with your personality? Then number 5, cultural expectations. So we take all those 5 things and we branch them together. So I'll use examples. Okay, there's no one like that in here. And nowadays people are doing a lot of these colored braids, the pinks, the blues, the whatnot. the plating is very good, the face shape is very okay, but the person doing it, like certain things leave them for other people. Right. Then some of the things depends also with the cultural trends, the vogue of the moment, because you are then associated with a certain group of people that does that style. So those are the things that you need to be cognizant of. Right. So some of the things, just love them and admire them in other people, and not yourself. So you put in all those things together, then you'll find what works for you. So is there a question? Yes.
Yeah. How do I dress for my body type?
Right. I had avoided going there, but I'll address it. So number one, there are 5 different body types. So you fall in one of those body types. But the simple answer to you is you should dress opposite to your body type. So I'll explain it. So using myself, I'm what we call an H or rectangular body type. Right. So ideally I should not wear things that are too straight, because then you are just you need to create some curves. Right. So I would wear like what I'm wearing, an A-line gown. So when I move, it spreads out. The hips start promising to come out. That's what you want to do. Right. Then allow me to use my friend there, the auditor. She's heavily built. Right. So if she wears something that's round, she's just going to be rounder. Yeah. So that's why we say you dress opposite your body type. So if you are top heavy, make the bottom heavy so that you slim down the top side. If you are bottom heavy, make the top side heavier so that you slim the bottom. Then you balance. So when you're dressing, you work to balance the proportions of your body.
Can you have an example?
Sorry?
An example.
Of?
Okay.
Like, okay, can I explain how I'm understanding
Okay,
it?
let me explain to her. Right. Allow me to use myself.
Now you are making mystery.
Right. So I'm tall. Remember I said I'm an H shape. So I have my pajamas here. I am very straight. Right. Now I want to dress opposite. I want to create curves and hips. Right. So when I wear my gown, this is an A line, what we call an A line. Right. I want to create an illusion of hips and a bust. So the first thing that I've created an illusion of is the line, what we call so the outside line is an A line. Then we now have inside lines. So when you look at me, you follow the detailing on the garment. So number one, I'm going to create a waistline. Right, allow me to tie that there. So when you look at me, remember I said I was wearing black, I was just straight. So you just looked at me from head to toe, straight down. But now with this, your eye is going to be following the detail. You're going to look at the brush there, you're going to follow this line, then you're going to come and look at the bow. If I put my hands in the pockets, I now have hips. Hips don't lie. So when I move, right, when I move, you don't see the straightness. And also because this part is now smaller, then if you see even the arms, they are wider. So even though I have long arms, you don't see it. Your eye concentrates on the details. So that's what we say, you dress opposite. Or when you're dressing, on what we would call figure flows, don't put attention on the figure flows. So if you don't want people looking at your breast, don't put things on the breast. We are going to land there. Yeah. Put detail somewhere there in the eye lens there. So you dress opposite, then you also avoid the figure flows. Yes. Okay.
She wants you to use her voice.
Okay, please stand. So when we are looking at the body type, we look at 3 areas of the body, right? So one, we look at the shoulder, we look at the waist, we look at the dowry. This is what determines your body shape. So for you, normally I need a tape measure for this, but just by looking at you, you are an H shape, you're the same body shape as me.
Okay.
Yes, you're the same body shape as me. So ideally what I would wear, you would wear. So with the H shape, the H shape and the H shape are what we call a balanced, they're usually balanced bodies. The H shape, the only difference is that the waist is smaller. So you have a full waist. H shape will have a smaller waist. So for you to balance, which part of your body do you like? The upper part or the lower part? The lower part. So if you like the lower part and you want people to concentrate on your lower part, whatever you're wearing, make sure it is detail from the waist going down. Then people will know the upper part. Yes. That's what you do. That's how you dress.
Short in colors. Yeah, short in colors. Flowers.
How do I walk?
Okay. Okay, so I'll explain it. Unfortunately, we don't have enough space. So number one, what you do when you start off walking, you need to look for a completely flat wall. So when you stand, first thing, your heels, you put your feet together like that, right? Make sure your heels touch the wall, you're straight. When they touch the wall, the second part, your shoulders should touch the wall. So the moment you do that, automatically, as you can see, stomach is already in, the butt is pulled up. You have corrected your posture. Then when you move, always start moving from your left side. So your left foot forward. Right. Like where my leg is that way, your left foot forward. When your left foot forward, your right hand goes forward that way for balance. Then you move this way. This is how you switch. Right. Then as you're moving, always ensure that your chin is parallel to the ground. You're not facing up, you're not facing down. It's parallel. Tikashan sachi, spirit measuring, she building. You should be parallel. And when you move, never face the ground. Face your bright future. You always face forward. So when you're walking, then you also step first with your heel, then toe. So it's heel, then toe. Heel, then toe. Then for your knees, they should not bend. Okay, unfortunately, I'm wearing pants, so you might not be able to see. So don't bend your knees too much. Right. It's just a slight fold. What we call a slight fold. Like that, that's how you move. We call that the catwalk. The way a lion walks is the correct way to walk. So your feet are like that, right? Then you put your left foot there, first right there, left there, right there, left there. That's how you move. And when you move that way, it gives you a natural, nice swing. What we call a swinging gait. A slight swing. You should not be exaggerating. Then if you do it naturally, even with the pull of gravity, you find that you'll be well balanced. You won't fall. If you find that you want to fall onto one side, it means you're doing it the wrong way. You've exaggerated your move. So that's how you move the catwalk. Or if you want, you can check how they do the parades, the guard of honor, the way they move. It's just that with those guys, they then pause a bit, but that's how you should move. Yes.
She's saying she's now embarrassed to even stand up.
What's the right amount of makeup that you should put?
Okay, so with makeup, that's a very good question. Makeup is there to highlight your strong features, not to change who you are. So what you do with makeup, when you apply makeup, only highlight one feature on your face. So if you're going to highlight the lips, forget about the eyes. If you're going to highlight the eyes, then your lips are neutral. So you only highlight one feature. And less is more, as natural as possible, because we want to be able to still recognize you and see you with or without makeup. So makeup is just a touch-up. Then what happens with makeup, you don't have to use everything. Right. You put the foundation, the concealer, the eyebrows, the contour, the highlighter, the what not. No. Use what is needed for your face. That is what you use. So if you want to concentrate on the eyes, just do the eyes. If you just want to smoothen out your skin tone, then just use either the foundation or the powder, whatever it is, so that you look as natural as possible. You must not change. So if you look at like the example of presidency and royalty, they just have a certain glow, but you can recognize them in any setting. They don't change. So less is more. Then maybe only for special functions like weddings or whatever, you can put on a little bit extra. Or if you're going for an evening function, because of the lighting and aesthetics, you can just add a little bit more, but it should not change you. So even when you do your brow, you should do it so much that when you don't have it, it's close to the natural, not completely different. Yes.
Sorry, I've noticed with Sergio, but too, your lipstick is too on. I know the fade.
So,
Okay, one day is tight, then eating style. Oh, in the mouth. Yes, put the food in the mouth, not on the lips.
How do you go for eating style to check the type of the lipstick?
my question is, does red lipstick suit?
Yes. Like I said, I didn't want to talk about color analysis, very technical. So ideally, when it comes to color or hues, we have 4 seasons. So it depends in which season you fall under. So there are 4 types of reds. So you're supposed to use the red that works for you. Yes, there's a red that works for you. So it's either you are a cool undertone or warm undertone. Simple test using veins. Do you have blue or green veins?
Green. I
If you have green veins, you're a warm undertone. If you have blue veins or veins that look like they're black, you have a cool undertone. So if you have a warm undertone, all energizing colors are the only colors that you should wear in your entire life. Yes, there are certain colors you should never wear in your entire life. So, typical example, have you, even if you say earth colors, the question is, are they cool or are they warm? Does anybody do Avon in here? Do you have your Avon book? It's fine. I want you to check on your Avon book.
I have it as a soft copy though.
You have a soft copy?
Yeah.
Now, can you open it? Go to the foundations or lipsticks. You'll actually find it's written. So anything that says, any skincare product that says blue or cool, they are cool undertones. If it says warm or red or yellow, it's a warm undertone. Okay, let me explain it. It's simple. Beef. Yeah, my mom. When you go to the supermarket, pane beef ine mafuta e white, and it. Pane ma beef ine mafuta e yellow. Saka beef ine mafuta e white, ndo cool undertone. Ine mafuta e yellow, ndo warm undertone. So what happens is whatever color you put against either the white or the yellow, it will reflect differently. The reflection is now the true color. That's how we see whether it sits on you or not. A simple example using foundation. Somebody applies foundation, they look ashy or pale. Another one looks yellowish or reddish. What it simply means is they have used a foundation that is not in their undertone. So in the world, God created two undertones. It's either you're cool or you're warm. The only time a person can have a neutral undertone is when you're pregnant or when you're in your period. So right now, if I was to do a test on all of you, checking your veins on your undertone, I would tell you that you've just started or you've just finished or you're on your period or you're pregnant. Or the only time your undertone will be altered if you're on chronic medication that affects the percentage melanin in your blood. That's the only time you could be neutral. But there are no neutral people. You are either cool or warm. It's not hot and cold. It's cool or warm. It has nothing to do with temperatures. So mafuta aya akanzi Nivea cool. Therefore, cool undertone, not undertone. A simple example, right? I can use Nivea. I'm a warm undertone, right? If Gamu uses Nivea Cool, you'll find that her skin, it comes out nice, right? If I use the same mafuta, do not wait on it, anything, and you keep wondering why, it means you've used a product that's not in your undertone. But it's actually a process. So for us to determine your undertone and season, it's a technical process that we do. It takes an hour to determine what undertone you are. But a simple cheat sheet, if you get home in your clothes, most women wear about 20% of their wardrobe. So if you find that you have something new, whenever you wear it, you take it off and leave it. When you look in the mirror, you just find that there's something about it and you can't pinpoint what it is. Usually it's the undertone, because whenever you wear it, it does not allow you to glow. It makes you dull, so you end up leaving it. So it means that that's not in your undertone. Yes. So that's why usually celebrities, they're usually on point, because everything they wear, even if they wear a t-shirt or a bikini, they always look good, because usually the color they are wearing is in their undertone. And why is the undertone important? It reflects on your face. So that one, you find it in Exodus 28. It's in the Bible. when God gave the priests specific colors to wear, it was the reflection that they would give. They would give that artificial glow of glory. So that's the undertone. So the undertone also determines the color of jewelry you should wear. So if you are a warm undertone, you must wear silver jewelry only. If you are a warm undertone, it's gold only. If you are a cool undertone, you wear silver only.
Because you're gold.
Gold. Hey, what I like silver.
You're a warm undertone, she's a cool undertone.
Who, me?
No, she's a cool undertone.
Oh.
Yes. No, I've trained my eyes, I can see, but there's a process you do. You're a warm undertone, autumn season. You're the same shade as me.
What about
So whatever colors I wear, you can wear. So the undertone is not your complexion. Your complexion changes. Your undertone is not your complexion. Your undertone is like the spirit, the real you. Yeah. So I'm an autumn season. You are a spring. You are a warm undertone, but spring season. She's autumn. I am autumn. You are autumn. Yes.
I think we always do that.
It's a process. It's a process. I think you are a vivid autumn. You are between spring and autumn. I think I need to do the test to be very accurate, but I think you're in between. Yeah, so some of the colors, so it's not about the color you love. They are beautiful colors. Then there are colors that make you beautiful. That's the difference. All colors are beautiful, but there are colors that make you beautiful. A simple example, have you seen people that wear uniforms? They are all given uniform on the same day, but you'll find that for one or two people, they just look on point. It's just there. Then the rest you are wondering, what on earth is happening? Usually it's because the undertone is not the right one. Yet the style and the fit will be right, but just the undertone is not the right one.
Everybody needs an image consultant.
Yes. That's why kings have image consultants. They just use your points.
One last question. If you're that's the last one. If you're the Christian.
Is there a kingship love?
Kingship love.
That you say I've lost it. But okay, it's not prolonged. It doesn't go far. So kids are usually composed and straightforward people. They don't prolong their life. Straight to the point, done.
Sound doesn't. You can quite call it.
No, it's very composed. It's not loud. You just. So when you think of kings, think conservative, think more moderate, not high, not low, just there, hanging in the balance.
I just prolonged it.
Yeah, sure. But she's done her best. I'm sure it's like 2 hours.